Cinema. Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is
Par the Collector. What's up, everybody?
And it is our Christmas episode, and I decided to take a left turn and do horror Christmas, and I picked Black Christmas,
Black
1974,
Christmas.
not the remake.
Yeah, I was texting a buddy of mine, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm about to watch this movie for the podcast this week." He's like, "What you doing?" I was like, "It's Christmas month, so we're doing Black Christmas." He was like, "That like a horror movie?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Okay." So he sends me a photo of the new poster. He's like, "You're doing it on this shit?" And I was like, "No, it's the original." He was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
But like it is weird to me to do horror movies at Christmas.
It is, but I watched this one a couple years back, and I loved it so much. The Scream Factory came out with a re-release of it, 4K, so I decided to pick it up and do it on the podcast.
This movie is really a cult classic.
Fun fact that I didn't even realize, everyone talks about Halloween being the originator of slasher films. This came out 4 years before
I
Halloween.
mean, there ain't much slashing, but yeah.
Well, it set up the slasher. I mean,
the
there's
tension, the being
the horror.
watched, the whole like being watched trope, and you don't know you're being watched. Like they came up with a lot of stuff. I was about to say a lot of horror
elements
themselves from this movie.
This is the groundwork for all future like slasher films that came after it.
Friday.
And I didn't even realize that until, rewatching it and doing a little bit of research. I was like, oh my God.
So it's directed by Bob Clark, you were saying?
Yeah, so Bob Clark, you don't want to know what else Bob Clark did?
Yeah, what did Bob Clark direct?
A Christmas Story
Fuck yeah, dude.
and Baby Geniuses.
That's crazy. He did like the OG horror Christmas movie, and then he did like the OG like beloved Christmas
Yeah,
movie.
he went on both spectrums. He did Porky's.
Porky's is awesome.
Yeah. Those are like his main.
He did Baby Geniuses.
Yeah.
Ah,
That's rough.
yeah, that is rough. I guess he needed a paycheck.
Right.
He must have been like 80 and shit.
But back in the day, he fucking put out some bangers.
Well, this movie came out in 74, and I think
People
Christmas Story.
still love this movie.
I don't know what year Christmas Story came out, but it had to be the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely of its time.
So what did you think about Black Christmas? Because you just said you just watched it this morning.
I did. I just watched it. It's fresh in my mind.
When it was over, were you like, I'm glad I watched that? Or, I probably won't watch that again.
I won't watch that again.
Really?
But no, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I told you, not even intentionally, but because it is this time of year, and there are so many horror fans out there. Like I've seen like 4 people do mini reviews on this movie, and I went in like fresh minded. I was gonna do it on my own and see what I thought of it. And I love certain elements of it. Like I'm a big sucker for old timey things. Like the phones. I love dial rotary phones. Like I think that's awesome. I miss shit like that, like being in my grandmother's house. I liked how that house was set up. It was so cool. Like it had a fucking basement and attic. It had 4 floors. Like
That
all these rooms
that house or sorority house, whatever, it looked solid as fuck.
yeah, like that bitch could
Like-
withstand the apocalypse if it needed to.
Right.
And it looked 1,000 years old. Like, and this is in the 70s. So just shows you like how old the house is. But it's pretty much, it goes through a sorority right around the holidays. They're all about to leave for go home or go abroad or wherever they're doing. And Margot Kidder, which I love her as Lois Lane in the original Supermans. She's sexy to me. I don't know. Like I loved her in these movies.
Barb.
Yeah. Barb got it the worst. I don't know, old girl in the beginning. She got it very bad.
She got it pretty bad. She made it on the cover of the fucking movie. So,
dude, like if you were in a horror movie though, like would you rather be the first kill or would like the last kill? Like
what's funny is there was an interview with that lady, and she was talking about, she's like, I didn't have much acting in that movie, but everyone seems to remember me and wants to come up to me and tell me how great I was.
Did you just open your mouth with your eyes wide open? It is her. I fucking told you, Bob. It is her. But yeah, I think if I was in a horror movie, it wouldn't matter. Like, I guess if as long as it was like a cool kill.
Yeah,
you know
that's
I mean?
that's the thing. I would want to be a cool kill.
Yeah, take me out, cool. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing is, this is a horror movie, but it leans itself more like a psychological thriller.
For sure.
And I think that's why I liked it, because I've said it before on the podcast, I'm not the biggest horror guy. But whenever I watched this, I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it does a good job of pulling at you. Like, I was more scared. They weren't even jump scares, but like they turned into jump scares for me. Like when the old lady was walking through the house or something, and then it cut to the police sirens going off, and they got me. Like I'd kind of like, ooh, all right.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's what it does. It does a good job of building that tension.
Mm-hmm. He laid so many like foundations, like the point of view, like first person point of view of the killer.
Yeah.
Like you just see his hands as he's like crawling through the house. That's scary as fuck.
Yeah, man, because it just shows him like watching them, and like, yeah, that's what I said. That's like a big fear for a lot of people.
Or it would like zoom in on like the attic door, and it's just black, and it's just zooming in on it real slow, like he's there. Like fuck.
Yeah, and then like little things that, you know, people don't even notice. Like they were in the house with him for, you know, 2 days, and nobody had a fucking clue. Like,
you ever seen those videos of the
Yes.
homeless people living in people's
Yes.
houses? He's like, I kept missing food and I didn't know where it was going, so I set up a camera and there was a fucking homeless girl like crawling out of his attic. Like, what the fuck? That's fucking terrifying.
that is. That's terrible.
So, what is this movie even about? Like, we keep talking around the plot.
Right. Like I said, it's a sorority house, and they're all about to go off for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And Barb, who is played by Margot Kidder, she is like a spoiled rich girl. She's really just at college to like have a good time, a party. And her mom's like super loaded, and she's like, does anybody want to go skiing for 2 weeks in the Alps or some shit? And I'm like, sounds awesome. It sounds like your life's so bad. She just had like somebody shit in her cereal. And I was like, all right, so it's laying some groundwork for what kind of character she is. And the girl at the beginning, she's kind of like a quiet, you know, girl, and she like misses being at home and stuff.
Are you talking about the first one?
The first girl that died, I don't even remember.
They paint
I
her
think
as
it's
like
Claire.
the innocent
Goody
one.
two shoes, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the girl with the glasses, Phil. And then I love the house mom. She was like the coolest.
She wasn't she?
Yeah,
Like going
she just-
around getting drunk. I loved all the fucking
She just like
hiding
pulled
places.
liquor out of everything.
It literally, yeah.
Even the toilet, I was just like, wow.
That's pretty nasty.
That's desperate. Well, no, I mean, she had it in the clean part.
I guess, but still.
Yeah, only the clean water goes in the top part.
It still makes me uneasy.
It made me think that like it wasn't all the way in the water. Like it was just enough to keep it cool.
I don't know, she pulled at it for a while.
Yeah, that shit did have a long ass string, didn't it? Yeah, I guess you got a point there. But yeah, the old woman was cool. She had the shit in like old dictionaries and shit.
Right.
But like even like because when the dad shows up, because the first night she gets it, she's packing up her bags, and Barb makes her feel like a piece of shit because she's misses her family and stuff. And Barb had just got the call from her mom that they weren't at home, and she'd have to pretty much fend for herself in the mansion or whatever if she went home or whatever. So she was all butthurt and took it out. And of course, like she'd been drinking.
Right.
It's a party.
That's one thing I like about this movie is how much it builds up the characters. Like even in 1974, like they
For
did
a
lot
very
of,
short period too, because it's not like you get a big 45-minute intro into their lives before shit starts happening. Like it's almost like this movie's only an hour and 38. Like
I know I was surprised because the night before I started watching it, I got about an hour in and I was like getting tired. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm like, let me just finish it tomorrow because I'm off work anyway. And I realized I was like, it's only an hour into this fucking movie. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. I think that's one thing I realized while I was watching this movie is older movies had so much better writing.
they just
As
had
far as,
better,
like-
I wouldn't say better writing, better pacing,
Maybe.
but the
Like
attention span of new audiences are different. Like they need something to be happening like every minute.
That's true. But like I said, like they do a good job within the first 15 of the movie that you feel like you know all these people.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And even the boyfriend, the one that plays Santa, like he's not even a part in there, but like you get enough of him that you're like, oh, this guy, like I wonder if he's gonna die.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many of the boyfriends are gonna get the axe? But they're having the party, and she's trying to talk to her mom or whatever, and it's all loud, so she tells everybody to get out, and she yells at Claire, and then Claire goes, like, runs up to her room to, like, pack her suitcase and stuff, and they got another girl that we're not talking about,
Jess,
who's got a
Barb,
sexy accent. I don't know what that is, but...
I don't either. I was thinking the same thing. Like, I was trying to figure out, I think she might be from...
Like, France?
That's what I was
like
thinking.
a French vibe off of her.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe she's French Canadian.
Maybe
because my buddy Dan, who actually lives in Canada, he pointed that out when he did his mini review on it a couple days ago. He said, "I love how you know it's made in Canada because they said done with government funding at the beginning of the movie, and like I guess that's like an old trope for Canadian movies."
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a cool little fun fact. I was like, I'm gonna have to remember that when we do this movie.
Yeah, she's probably French Canadian then.
But yeah, she was hot. Like, good actress too. I don't remember seeing her in anything else, but she was good in this. So yeah, she's kind of like, she's there, she's having a good time, but you can tell something's bothering her, and then that's when she makes the call to her boyfriend, and she's like, "I need to talk to you tomorrow," and he's like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Nothing. I just want to talk to you face to face."
And when all this is going on is we get the first...
She hit him with the fucking Han Solo. Did you hear that at the end of the phone call?
I did see that.
I was like, yo, you should have known something was up right then. I'd be like, bitch, I'm coming now. The fuck you mean I'm talking to you tomorrow? Like, I'm supposed to just go on about my life.
Yeah.
My girl is like, I tell her I love her, and she don't say that shit back. She just says, I know. Like, the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. Guys, I guess we're a little bit more fucking laid back then.
Maybe.
That shit would have bothered me all day, all night until I see her the next day. Fuck you mean you don't love me? What?
I was thinking about that. Like, how would I even handle that? Like, I love you. I know. What?
Bitch, what you
just
mean
didn't
you
talk right
know?
now,
You
right?
better love me back. Like, fuck you mean? Maybe come through this phone.
Especially when we've been dating for months.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he knocked her up, dude. Like, you know, obviously they ain't been together enough.
Yeah.
And she was kind of cold, dude. I'm not gonna lie. She was kind of cold. Like,
Well, she knew what was up. She knew he wasn't going to want to have the baby, and she was going to have to fucking stone arm him.
no, he wanted to have the baby.
Well,
Because
I meant she knew he would want to have the baby, and she was going to have to be like cold about it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I meant to say.
right. I don't forgot what it is that she's like studying to be or whatever, but it's like really important to her.
I don't think they say, but she's like,
She's in
and it
college
makes-
for something.
it makes sense. Like, if you're in college and you're trying to start a career, like, and you accidentally get impregnated, it's like you have to make that choice. Do I want to keep on with my career, or do I want to have this baby and raise a family? Because it is hard to do both, and I don't know many people that can.
No, but also back in the 70s, that shit was like, that was like almost unheard of. Like, people didn't have abortions back then.
Yeah, it was kind of a big deal. I would assume anyway.
I don't even know where she would have went to get. I don't know. Maybe Canada's a little bit more
I
lax.
mean, she has a closet, doesn't she?
Jesus Christ. Dark. But anyways, like, so yeah, like, old girl goes upstairs and she's packing, and like, what did he do with the fucking cat, bro? Did he kill the cat? Was he the cat? Like, I don't understand.
You do see like some shots of the cat, and then he starts.
I think he takes the cat in the attic because that's how he gets the old bitch.
Right.
You know, she pops her head up there like, where are you at, Whiskers? And fucking shoot, she gets the hook.
So is he coursing the cat to meow, or is that him meowing?
That's what I'm saying. Did he kill the fucking cat and now he's making cat sounds because he's a crazy fuck?
Doesn't say.
Because he does baby voices, chick voices.
Dude, he's fucking out of his mind.
That guy's like the dude from fucking Police Academy. He could do
Oh,
every
right.
fucking sound effect known to man.
I was trying to figure it out. Like, is he doing these things, or is he like holding the phone up to somebody else? Because it sounds like he's
The last one, like with Phil, I felt like he did that part.
Right.
He held it up to her for like the screaming and shit.
Yeah.
But the
But-
rest of them, it felt like it was just one person doing it back and forth.
But the
Like,
only problem with that is like either that house is like soundproof.
that's what I'm saying, because he's fucking, squeak, you know, doing shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck?
And you can't hear that. Like, I feel like the neighbors could hear that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's probably the only part of the movie that, like, probably could have used a little more explaining.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, because he was calling off the house mother's phone the whole time. And
Mhm.
it's not like her room was in a fucking attic. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm assuming it was out the way, but like I don't know. And it wasn't like a portable phone. Like he had to do that shit right there.
Yeah, he had to be right there in the top of the stairs, even though the phone was downstairs. I don't know. I just feel like with all that ruckus, they would have heard something. But
movies.
Yeah, movies. It's not that big of a deal. It's just one of those things. Like, how do they not hear that? And then you kind of like let it go.
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, he's a pretty fucking fucked. He just kept saying, like, I had the subtitles on, and I'm glad it did because it shows you what he's saying.
It was a lot of shit. Like I'd hear some of it, but some of it I just couldn't make out.
He just calling him like little piggy. I want to
Yeah.
lick your pussy. Like fuck,
Yeah.
you fucking weirdo.
I got a big hard cock for you, shit like that. Yeah, I saw that, and then it was like Billy, what did you do, Billy?
Yeah. So the movie's pretty interesting because Claire gets it first.
Mm.
You know, he puts the bag over her head and she's sitting there the whole fucking movie with a fucking plastic
He's
thing
rocking
over
her in the rocking chair.
Right. And then we don't get another kill for like most of the movie.
Yeah, good 45.
Yeah, we just start.
Well, the house mother gets it. And that's my thing. I guess because the attic was like a full big ass attic, like
Mhm.
it would make sense they'd have a pulley, you know, to be able to lift stuff up through the attic to into the attic.
I
you
need
know?
one of those because fuck.
Right? But
I don't know if you have an attic. Oh, you don't. But
I don't have attic.
but I have to like haul shit up that attic on my ladder, and I was just like, I wish I had a pulley system like that.
But yeah, there's like no yeah, like I was like, where the fuck did he get a pulley rope?
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty like industrial
with a
pulley
hook and everything.
Yeah.
Like, it should be in a warehouse. But that's the only thing I could figure because the house was so old. Like they needed it. Maybe it wasn't just for the attic, but like to put anything on the second floor or third floor or whatever. I don't know because
Yeah.
the way the stairs were built, it looked like it would have went like right down there.
Probably.
Yeah, the scene where it shows him outside breathing heavy and shit, like an out of shape fucking Doberman, and then he just kind of, and then you just see him crawl in the gazebo, like you know the whatever
Mhm.
with the plants.
I don't know what they're called, but I know what you're talking about.
Right, it's like
It's in
where-
every horror movie ever that people climb up to get into a window.
right, and then of course like it's the 70s, none of these fucking windows locked from the inside or anything. He just
Well,
pops.
she even said that in the movie. She's like,
you know, this
you
is the
realize
only-
this is the only door and the only window that's locked in the whole house? Like, why the fuck?
because they live in the middle of fucking suburban.
I mean, it is
America.
Canada. Like,
yeah, like
they, what's his name? That one
they're on a campus.
controversial. Yeah, that's true. The controversial director. I can't think of his fucking name. But anyway, he did a piece on people that don't lock their doors. Like he would walk into people's houses. Like, why don't you have your door locked? They're like, we don't have a need to. I think it was in Canada too.
Yeah, he's lucky because like if he was in
Oh, you're
America,
getting shot in
you
Texas.
get shot the fuck up.
Right.
Like, most places.
Shoot first,
nowadays.
ask questions
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, if I don't know you, like you can't shoot these bullets. Like, I'm not gonna wait to see if you try to kill me.
Do you lock your doors?
Fuck yeah, I lock my doors
Every time.
Yeah. I got a we don't fire warning shots, man. Like that's what I got. Catch you in my house, your ass is getting clipped. Yeah, I tell my mom because my mom used to be bad about that shit. I'd go
Not
in-
locking the door?
yeah, not locking her back doors and shit. And then I'd
Mhm.
come in and scare the fuck out of her. She'd be like, "Why'd you do that?" And I'd be like, "Cause your fucking door's unlocked. Like, fuck your fucking door."
You gotta teach her a lesson.
Yeah, like I mean, better me than fucking somebody's gonna go in there and kill her.
I had a friend whose mom used to sell pills, right?
Mhm.
Sell her prescription pills to like people that she knew. And word got around that she was doing this. And one day, a couple of guys went into the house with like some knives, I think, and took all the pills and all the money or whatever. It's like shit can happen. Why you gotta fucking lock your doors? Because you don't. She was up in a wheelchair, you know. But
That's an easy lick. That's why they did it.
mhm,
'Cause they knew she wasn't gonna give them no trouble.
right.
But if she'd
shit
been
like
sitting
that.
in that wheelchair with a sawed-off shotgun, the motherfucker, she'd blow the first one into fucking lasagna. The other
Right.
three might run. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think everybody like.
Yeah,
I'm not
lock
saying
your
you should-
doors.
yeah, I'm not saying like maybe you're not a gun person, but like I don't know. I'd rather have one and not need it than need it and not have it.
Right.
That's just how I feel.
Well, out here in the neighborhood that I live in, people will go around and check doors, and somebody got their gun stolen out of their car because they didn't lock their doors. Like,
Yeah, that's the same thing. I don't understand why people don't lock their cars.
right.
Like, you gotta lock everything up now.
Mhm.
It is sad that it's that way, but I mean that's just the way the world is now. People are desperate and they're willing to steal shit.
Yeah.
If it ain't nailed down, they'll take it.
Hmm.
You know how I knew it was bad? Because you remember when that hurricane like leveled Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And they were trying to get stuff out there to like build and get the power back on.
Hmm.
Whenever they would stop for the day, they would steal the generators, the everything that they had to work and try to get the power, the grid, the tools. Everything would get stolen by the people that they're there to help.
God damn. People are savages.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? When times get real tough, you're going to see people's real character.
Yeah.
All that fucking help my fellow man, that shit goes out the window day one.
Right.
So, I don't know. So yeah, anyways, the father of Claire comes, and this is where we get introduced to
Mr. Harrison.
Mr. Harrison and Jess's boyfriend, Peter.
Hmm.
And Peter is wants to be a concert pianist, and he's been at this place for like 8 years. Like, I don't know, I guess he's trying to be like a doctor in music or something, I would imagine.
Well, he's trying to be a professional pianist, but he obviously didn't do well at his
Final audition or whatever.
which I thought was pretty good. Like,
But
I don't know who was on that piano, but I liked it.
yeah, so oh yeah, dude, the old man, Mr. Harrison, gets whapped with a fucking snowball.
Oh, he does, doesn't he?
Knocks his fucking glasses clean off his face. Peter's like, my bad, I should have been watching him better. And he's like, I'd say you should. And he's like, I said fucking sorry. There is like little bits of like humor in this.
Mhm.
Like, so like he's like, I'm sorry, man. He's like, I hate to bother you. And I'm like, well, you were just a dick, so let me help you now. And he's like, I've been looking. He's all supposed to be with my daughter here, and she's not one to be late. And I've been here for hours. Like, you know who she is or where she's at? And he's like, oh yeah, I know her. She stays in the sorority that my girlfriend's in or whatever. And
Yeah, it's real close. I'll walk you over there and we'll
I'll show you
check it
over
out.
so they go, and then of course the house mom shows them around and shows them her room, and she's got posters of like
That was funny. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, it's a peace sign, but it's two people,
Yeah, it was
like a
like-
man laying on top of a naked woman. She just has her hand over it.
well, because he saw something else. It was like, I forgot what it was he picked up,
Hmm.
but it was like sexual. And he was like, I didn't send my daughter to college to drink and meet boys. And then that's when the house mom, Mrs. I forget what her name is. But,
Would it be Miss Mac?
yep, there it is, Miss Mac.
Okay.
So Miss Mac puts her hand over the poster that shows the asshole. And it's like a peace and love. It's like, it's the 70s though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all about free love and shit like that,
Right.
Yeah. So the dad, he's like, I don't know. She's like, oh, I'll take you over to this to the frat house. Cause like, I guess in the 70s, the frat house wasn't a complete fucking animal house, so like,
Or they didn't know about it anyway.
right. Or it was during the day.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
were fucking handing out presents to kids and shit. And that's where you see Barb, who's still fucking drinking. And the guy, Phil's boyfriend, is playing Santa. And it's actually another funny scene. Like, he's sitting there and you can tell he doesn't want to be doing it.
I love that he's cussing right in front of the kids and gives no fucks.
No fucks at all. Like, that's what I thought was so funny. And he goes like, you stupid bitch, or something like that. And she's like, doesn't have Santa have a filthy mouth? He's like, I don't give a shit.
I love that they just let shit go in the 70s.
Yeah, it was just like, yeah. Probably why they birthed more serial killers than any other decade.
Well, they had more, but if they birthed them, that would be in the 90s. That they would be serial killers.
No, because they didn't start killing people when they were born. They started killing them when they were in their teens and like, when they were adults.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, 70s, 80s would have been like, you know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't know, maybe. I feel like the big name serial killers, like all of them happened in the 80s,
70s, 80s. Yeah, I guess so.
And then what's his name? Bundy was like late 80s,
Mm.
mid 80s, some shit like that. I don't know. I remember they didn't kill him till like 90 something.
Yeah.
But anyways, so yeah, she's getting hammered, and then they all take the dad over to the police station to file a missing persons report. And then
I love the fucking police officer that gives no fucks.
Yeah.
He does not care.
Yo, shout out to the guy that plays the fucking lieutenant though, because he's in Enter the Dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's actually like one of the biggest names in this movie. Like,
I knew I recognized him from somewhere.
I've seen him in other stuff. Like he kind of looks like young Sean Connery. That's what always makes me remember him. But yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh fuck yeah, he's in Enter the Dragon. Like we're gonna see him do some cool shit. Not really, but so he's like the lieutenant. He's talking with his mother, and she's like, you know, it's not that uncommon for kids to stay out late or go to a friend's house and not call. And she's like, it's not for my daughter. My daughter always is a good girl. Like she comes back. So like we were gonna go buy a gift for her father. She would have wanted to be there for that. Like something's wrong. And he's like, all right, well, we're gonna get a search party together and we're gonna try to find her.
Well, this is later because they do talk to Mr. Lieutenant Nash or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
And he gives no fucks. And he's like, what number can I call if something comes up? She's like, fellatio.
Yeah.
And he doesn't catch it,
Yeah.
which is pretty funny.
Yeah, because they make fun of him later on in the movie about it.
But so they go back home and the other boyfriend is, I guess he's friends with the lieutenant or knows him or is a family friend.
No, Claire's boyfriend.
Yeah.
She Jess goes to the boyfriend. He's a hockey player.
Oh, right. That's what it is.
And I love this guy's fur coat, man. Like, dude's rocking the fuck out of that fur coat.
It looks so good.
Like Joe Namath.
Looks
dude.
like he's a pit straight.
Like a fucking, like a baller, dude. Like,
and then he marches up to the fucking
starts throwing shit. I'm like, fuck. Only in the 70s can somebody do some shit like that.
And that's when he's like, oh, we'll get a search party together or whatever, just because this boyfriend, I guess, knows somebody.
That and the little girl had gone missing. So they were like, that's two girls. That's not a coincidence. You know?
Well, don't they find the little girl while they're doing the search party?
Yeah, which is fucked up, which makes me believe that this dude fucking killed her.
Is that what? Yeah.
Only as a distraction. Like he left her there because he knew eventually they would come find, look for her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a small town. It's a college town, you know.
Yeah.
So you have the campus, and then like probably the houses that sorority and frats use, and then probably just a little bit of others.
That's true. Yeah.
People that just work in the town, you know.
Right. So yeah, they find the little girl, and
of course the mom's fucked up. That got me too, you know, because I got kids. So
yeah, there's always something with a little girl in these movies.
I know, dude. What the fuck? Every time I was like, "Fuck you, Greg." Really?
Yeah.
So they all go back to the house, and Peter and Jess are there, and Peter's like, I quit the observatory," which I think they kicked him out.
Oh yeah,
you know?
because he failed.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things, like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like whenever you get fired from your job, you come home and you tell the wife, and fuck that job, I quit. I'll find something else.
Find something better.
Yeah.
I already got something better.
That's what it is.
And
that's when she tells him that she's pregnant, and he's like, we should start a family. Let's get married. And she's like, I do not want to marry you, and I do not want to have your baby. And he just loses.
Well, that was earlier. She told him that in the piano place.
Oh, right.
And then he made it seem like he had already made all these decisions for her. He was like, look, I quit. He's like, I've fucking stayed in one room for 8 years. Like, I have to wait in a line of 6 to take a bath. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck are you doing taking a bath? You're a grown man. But I let it go. And
it is crazy. When you live in certain big cities, I've heard of that. Like, if you want to live in New York, you have to share an apartment with like 4 other people just to make rent because it's so expensive.
And it's still $2,000.
Yeah, exactly. And
for a closet.
No, I'm not doing that.
But anyways, so and he's like, I'm gonna leave. He's like, we're gonna leave, and we're gonna get married. And she's like, you told me that was your biggest dream since you were a kid, you know, and that you know. And she's like, I'm not ready to give up on the things in life that I want to do, like, you know. And it makes sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, he goes, if you get rid of this baby, you're gonna fucking regret it. Like, you know, he's trying to make it like, trying to tell her like force her into having the kid, you know. And she's like, you need to leave. And he's like, don't you get rid of this baby or else, like, type shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then it shows him like standing outside like a fucking stalker the rest of the movie, pretty much. So the calls keep coming when it's just Jess there. Then Phil and Claire's boyfriend get there, and then he leaves with the cop. They tap the phone.
Yeah. Which, by the way, can we talk about this phone tapping? I was so fascinated by the phone tapping thing. So they did something with the whole phone, he goes to the phone company, I guess.
No, he's got the guy from the phone company is the one that put the tap in.
Right, but he's at some kind of like switchboard.
Yeah, he's at the phone company.
I don't know. I'd never seen that before. It was pretty elaborate.
Yeah, that's pretty cool how they do that.
Yeah.
Or how they used to, like,
I was going to say, it's
people.
not like that anymore.
No, it's everything's all.
But he had to go and like find these switches.
He had to go tap into each individual phone line, like if it was going off.
Yeah.
Because, like, that was the only way he could tell, like, if it was doing something, you know, and because, like, it shows him, like, running through, looking at each one. It's kind of cool.
It is, but it gives it some merit when they're like, you need to stay on the line
Right.
so we can figure out where he's at. Because I know in the 90s they tried to do that, but technology has come a long way since then. And you could phone tap in a few seconds.
Well,
so that whenever they're like, you got to keep them on the line for at least 3 minutes, it's not real because you can tap it in a couple of seconds.
Yeah, now, but back then you did.
Oh, in the 70s, yeah, but I'm talking about in the 90s. When I watch movies from the 90s and they try to pull that trope.
Yeah, but then the criminals got smarter too because they started finding ways to bounce the calls off other shit.
Yeah.
And because that's like one of my favorite scenes of The Sopranos, and he's like, puts the phone into that thing, and he's like, is it safe to talk on this fucking thing? And he's like, yeah, same thing the Taliban used to do. He goes, reroutes it to a third party, throw the phones away after. And he's like, all right, fuck it. And then they like have their meeting or whatever. But I was just like, that's fucking crazy that they had to get to that because of the fucking feds tapping all their phones. Like, you know,
and now it's just burner phones.
Right.
You buy a prepaid phone, you use it, you throw it away.
They toss it, and like that's what these guys do. They give a new number out like every other week.
Yeah,
like I don't use that number no more. I use this one now.
Yeah, back in the day, when I used to buy pot from guys like that, like every fucking like once a month, my dealer would be like, "Yeah, I got a new number." Fuck.
You get a text. I got that gas.
Yeah.
We're like, who the fuck is this? It's like, it's me, man. I'm like, well, I don't have this number. Like, it's my new number.
Yeah.
Get rid of the old one.
I don't miss those days. I'm glad that shit's getting legal now because
it
makes it a lot easier.
Now I get
Not that I do it, but
now I get greeted. It's a lot better. It's a lot better.
Right. But anyway, I thought the phone tapping was fucking fascinating.
So he keeps doing all this crazy shit on the phone, and then he goes and kills Margot Kidder. He goes and kills Barb. And she's got all these crystal animals and stuff in her room.
Oh, speaking of, real quick, so I need to. So I was having issues with my 4K. So I just bought this movie. I gave you the Blu-ray copy. I kept the 4K copy because I have a 4K player. And was watching it one night with the wife, and the movie kept freezing. And with these boutique labels, sometimes there's like faulty disc and shit like that. So it just kept happening, and I was like, I can't deal with this right now. So I email Scream Factory, and I was like, hey, is this like a common issue? I'm having trouble with the disc. I wake up the next day, and I'm like, let me try and watch that movie again. See, and it gets to the crystal part. That's the reason I thought about this. And it freezes again. And I was like, what the fuck is going on with this disc? I'm like, it's brand new. So I take it out of the 4K player, and there is a piece of hair that is stretched across the whole disc. I don't know if it's human hair, pet hair. I don't know what it is. But it's the reason my disc kept messing up. So it was fucking infuriating me, and it was just a piece of hair.
This is insane. So,
but the crystal part, it froze. And I was like, God damn it, I was losing my goddamn shit. But took the hair off, and it seemed to work fine.
That's good.
So anyway, I don't know how a piece of hair got in there because I put it from the fucking case into the fucking 4K player.
Well, you have fucking gorgeous hair. Your wife has hair.
Yeah.
I mean, you have animals. Like, it's possible.
Yeah. It's just that split second.
But
anyway, so yeah.
He grabs the old unicorn and goes to work on old Barb. Like I said, she got it pretty bad.
And there's not much gore in this. Like people get killed, but
She
you don't
has
see
the most blood in this.
right, and it's all over her hands and stuff.
It's
But
not
you don't
really
see a whole lot.
Right. So pretty much everybody goes to bed, gets it. So then Phil, we don't even get to see how Phil dies.
No, because she goes up to look for him, and
she goes to her room, and then she sees Barb's door shut, and she's like, that's weird. Like Barb's been asleep. So then she goes to Barb's room, and then the door just shuts behind her, and then it kind of looks back up at the attic for some reason. I didn't know why it did that.
well,
Like if he's in the attic, then how the fuck did that happen?
mm,
You know what I mean? But,
yeah, I guess so. Oh, but then you do get the call, and they finally tap it, and they figure out where it's coming from.
calls coming from inside the house, and the cop's a fucking idiot because he was like, "Is there any other phones in the house?" They're like, "Yeah, but it's a different number, and no calls have came through it."
Yeah, how could you not put two and two together?
Right, you know what I mean? Like, bro, you're obviously not fucking Batman. Like, you ain't figuring this shit out, detective. Like,
But that was a very iconic line. Like I hear it all the time now. Calls coming from inside the house.
and they've used that in God knows how many movies now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like that's another trope that came from this movie.
Mhm.
So like I said, a lot of horror aspect comes from this movie, whether you want to admit it or seen it or not or whatever. But a lot of this, like you said,
Yeah.
the slasher.
It laid the
genre.
groundwork for those slasher horror films.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why this movie gets as much love as it does, because they were able to make a movie like this at Christmas time. Because I ain't gonna lie, it takes you out of it from the beginning. If you're somebody that, like, for me, that loves Christmas and it means a lot to you, you don't want to think about bad shit during the happiest time of the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Well,
like,
originally this was going to be called Stop Me, but then
yeah, this worked.
but then they changed it to the holiday season. But that's also another trope in horror movies is you have My Bloody Valentine, you have Friday the
Halloween.
13th, Halloween. That's when these horror movies started using, holidays to, stake their movies in.
Prom night,
Hmm.
Carrie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Mhm.
But yeah, so like I said, I think that's why. And like I said, it does a good job of building tension. You know, it follows characters down hallways and in the bathroom. Like, you don't know how many times that old woman slid that fucking thing, and I thought when she slid it back, there was going to be old boy behind her.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it didn't, and it built it. And it's like
Hmm.
that I can imagine, like, for its time, like they'd never seen anything like this before in their life. You know
I'm
what I mean?
glad he did such a good job on it. You know what I mean? With
Right.
with the screenplay and the direction and the actors. Like everyone brought their A game, and it did lay the foundation, but it's still a solid movie
Yeah.
within itself, in my opinion anyway.
So it's down to just her and the cop. The lieutenant calls Nash, who's the guy that's a fucking dumbass.
I love that.
He tells him, he's like, calmly tell her to walk the fuck outside.
Mhm.
Because he calls the cop that's outside, and of course he got his throat cut, which is another trope. How many movies where the cop outside gets killed first?
Yeah.
Like, even in that movie Death Sentence that we both love, they put a cop outside of Kevin Bacon's house and they slit that motherfucker's throat and then put his head on the horn to let them know he was there to kill them. Like, you know what I mean?
I haven't seen that in so long. That's another one you need to pick.
Oh, Death Sentence?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely do that.
I've only seen it the one time.
Oh,
like I
so
bought it
good.
and watched it, and I was like, this is really good, but I haven't like revisited it since then.
I fucking love John Goodman. He's got
He's
the best
so
5
good.
minutes of any movie ever, dude.
You always quote that one line, and it's so good.
Lord knows I've been patient. Go with God. Bag full of guns. Like, so
Such
fucking
a good line.
I need that shit tattooed on me. That shit is too good.
Go with God and a bag of guns.
And a bag of guns. He goes, that make you the man that killed my firstborn or my secondborn? Puts that fucking hand cannon at him. Yeah, dude, that movie's good. We'll have to do that next year for
Yeah.
sure. So yeah, he's like, yeah, tell her to leave the house. Don't mention the fucking phone calls coming from inside the house. Just tell her, don't go upstairs. Don't do anything. Just go outside. And I'll be there in 5 minutes. So Nash is telling her, and he's like, hey, Jess, is anybody else in the house with you? And she's like, no, they're upstairs asleep. And he's like, okay, well, they're fucking dead pretty much. He doesn't say it, but like that's what he's thinking. Like, well, they're fucking dead.
Yeah.
So I need you to go walk out front. The other officers are going to wait on you.
He's like, don't ask any questions. And then she's like, what's going on? What's wrong? And he
what
just
did I
gets,
just fucking say?
just go outside, like I said.
And then finally he's just like, bitch, the phone calls are coming from inside the house. You're going to get murdered, bitch. Don't go upstairs. Your friends are dead. Run for your life.
Right.
And she's just like, please answer me. Like, let me grab a fucking poker and not do what the cop tells me to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she runs to the fucking basement. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I don't know, man. Dumb bitch. Like, that's what I kept thinking. Like, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
You're trying to
Just
die.
go outside.
You're trying to die. Like, you can't save them. They're gone. You've been calling them for 10 minutes. Ain't nobody answering you. They're fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that bothered me at the end of this movie, like when it's all said and done, how the fuck do you leave her in the house? You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
When she fucking kills Peter and they're like all fucking sitting around her in her bed and they're just like, yeah, we just doped her the fuck up. She'll be fucking dead to the world for about 4 hours.
Because they thought it was Peter. They thought Peter was the guy that was doing all of it.
Doesn't matter. Take her to the fucking hospital.
This is true. She's probably traumatized.
Don't tell us she killed somebody and doesn't have any kind of like emotional, you know what I'm saying? That's somebody that's the father of her unborn child. Like, that is the stupidest fucking shit I've ever seen in my life. Yep.
Yeah,
They didn't even clean the fucking bodies up.
No, just left him there.
They
We'll take
just
care of this
left
later.
them there. And then the phone's ringing to let you know, like, I'm still here. Where are y'all going? That probably drove me more insane than anything else. I was just like, this makes no fucking sense.
I know
like,
the end of this
they
movie.
were trying to kill these kids.
This is true, yeah.
They were trying to kill these fucking kids.
I knew the end of this movie would get to you.
Oh my God. It just made no sense. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Yeah, and then like you don't really get a good look at the guy. You get to see some hair.
That's the
and
one
an
thing.
eye.
That's the one thing I do like about this movie is you get no information on the killer at all.
Yeah.
You don't know who he is. You don't know why he's doing it. You
What's
don't know
his motivation,
what
none of
his
that.
problem is. Like we can speculate if you want because I
I
was
think
curious.
he's an escape mental patient.
You think so?
I think so.
Hmm.
Because he was definitely on some shit, boy.
I think from the calls, he was a troubled kid. He had a mom that abused him.
Right. And I think that was his
And-
house he grew up in.
That's a good one too. Well, I mean, it's a sorority house, so
Now, but what was it 30 years ago? 20 years
you don't
ago?
think he's the same age as them? I think he's the same age as the girls.
Think so?
Because my thing is, I think he tried to get with one of these girls, maybe Jess, like tried to hook up with her, and she just rejected him, and he couldn't handle the rejection, so he broke into the sorority house to, payback kind of thing.
I guess it does make sense that he would be their age, you know?
Because that's my speculation is he got rejected and couldn't handle it.
But then he killed the little girl, though.
Well, he's already fucked up. Like
Yeah.
he already knew what he was gonna do.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm gonna break into their house.
Like I
and-
said, I really think he only did that as a distraction.
Yeah,
Because, like, they didn't have a lot of a big police force in that town. So
Yeah.
he knew if they were all out looking for that girl,
yeah, they wouldn't
then
be
he'd
looking
able to
for
do
him in the
whatever
house.
fuck he wanted to do in the house.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You know, and like he's made call, he pretty much using up whatever phone call he wanted at the time, you know. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense, I guess. I just thought like escape mental patient, that's his former home. He's trying to recreate his fucked up Christmas because like he's got Claire in that rocking chair.
Yeah.
Like it'd be like his mother type, and then he's got that fucking baby doll in her arm, which is even more fucked up. And I was just like, yeah, this guy's trying to fucking recreate some fucked up ass childhood that he had or whatever.
Yeah, I do think he had a fucked up childhood. That's kind of what
'Cause he keeps
started.
knocking over all the toys and shit that are out there. And,
Yeah.
you know, all that. And obviously whoever abused him called him a fucking pig and, you know, all that. Like, I don't know. It's obviously a fucking crazy person.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely insane. But I was just curious, like,
That's where the term psycho killer comes from, is shit like that. You know?
yeah, I just didn't know like if he knew these girls or he just picked a house. But I think that's why he's in the house is because he got rejected by one of the girls.
It makes sense. It would be like, it would have to be personal, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I was
you know,
thinking.
yeah, that's the only thing I wasn't really thinking about at the time, but because like it was kind of random, but it wasn't at the same time.
Yeah.
And he only killed women.
hmm
Well, in the one cop, he killed the cop.
Yeah. But
I really thought we were gonna get to see like the boyfriends get it. Like I thought everybody coming into the house was finna get that work, and this guy was really not about that life.
yeah, he just wanted the females.
Yeah, bitch. So yeah, like I said, that and the ending, man, the ending fucking pissed me off. Like it wasn't even like, oh my god, they didn't get him. It was like, you fucking idiots, how did you not get him? Like,
At least search the house. Yeah.
thank you. Like he's like, oh well, we'll call the parents. Bitch, they're not the only two missing. We're missing like 4 fucking people. And I can't imagine, because the dude's talking about like, oh, well, they don't have any room for it. Bitch, you put them in a freezer. You do something. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
You're not going to just leave a crime scene.
That's the one thing that bothered me is how do you not have the room for like a few bodies? Like, was there a mass murder before this happened? Because
He's like, the hospital's not meant to. I said, what is it, a fucking cubicle?
Yeah,
like, in
right.
the school nurse's office? Like,
we can only fit 2 dead bodies.
yeah, we already filled our quota, sir. Like, what? None of that shit made sense. That was lazy writing at the end of it. I feel like if you give it just a tad bit better ending, I'm saying still leave him in the house, whatever, do all that.
Yeah.
But they literally just left Old Gold there as a fucking Christmas gift for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then she can't even wake up. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to get fucking murdered.
Right.
I don't know. It just got on my nerves.
So what do you think about this movie?
Well, it won't be added to my Christmas rotation.
Why?
That's just not.
No, I didn't expect it to. I just wanted to do something different.
Right. I mean, like I said, it's not a bad movie, like I said, and it is a pioneer for horror, and I can appreciate that. So I took that into account. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I give it like a 6.8. It was like
6.8.
Yeah. Didn't quite get the 7 for me.
Yeah.
But it wasn't terrible.
Right.
Like I said, it did a really good job of building the tension, but like some of the crazy shit I've seen on screen, just the movies we've done, like that's fucking nothing compared to, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
So it didn't like fuck me up like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like this is like,
the thing
is
is
like reading an article about something that happened back then and you're just like, holy fuck, that's terrible, like
that's the thing about being a pioneer of this genre is they push the boundaries so much since then that this is kind of like mild.
But I thought about it though, man, and like other movies from this time period, like The Exorcist still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I still don't like watching that bitch by myself. Like just the fucking look of Gunnar Stahl or Gunnar Hansen in those movies, like good Lord.
Well, this one still made me uneasy.
No, it did at times, but I'm saying like they did I don't know. It's just like it built up the tension so much, but there was no payoff for some of them. You know what I mean? Because like you don't get to see what happens to Philly. You don't get to see what happens to.
I suppose, but like being on the edge of my seat, like.
And I know that this movie was probably done with no fucking budget. That's why it's that way. You know what I mean? They didn't have it, but like I don't know. Sometimes the gore it helps pay off the tension. I feel like.
It can, but I didn't need it. I felt like it paid off for me anyway. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, it wasn't bad, but it just didn't wow me, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Most people that like this movie already know about it and are horror fans.
Right.
But if you have not seen it, it's highly recommended. Like this will probably get people into horror if you're not big into horror.
Yeah, this like I said, this tells you a lot of the stuff that gets people nowadays was made from this. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's a good way to get on the shallow end of horror.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you don't want to get fucked up mentally right away. Because there's movies that out there that I know that like people are like, this movie's kind of fucking. I wouldn't just say it's for the weak-hearted, dog. I would watch that.
There's a couple of them. I watched one recently called Climax, and it was a little too much for me.
Right. Well, you said that one about the fucking Nordic metal or whatever was fucked up, right?
Nordic metal.
Not Nordic, but you know what I'm saying? The Icelandic.
Oh,
fucking
you're talking
death metal
about
shit.
Lords of Chaos.
Yeah, that like I've heard
because it's based on a real.
So I'm saying I've heard a
real
lot.
events.
I've heard a lot of people say that movie fucked them up. Like,
I mean, only because it's real.
right.
Like it really happened. I mean, some of it's exaggerated, but for the most part, that shit was real.
Right.
So,
but I'm just saying movies like that. I think, and it's because Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though none of it's really based off of a guy, based off of like 3 guys.
yeah.
But when you add based on a true story or based on real events, it just adds an extra fuck,
Right. This guy, it was these 2 guys. They were in a metal band called Mayhem. And one of them committed suicide. And the other one walked in, and instead of like calling somebody, he decided to take pictures with his dead body. Yeah. And there's like some other lore, like he kept a piece of his skull wrapped around his neck on a necklace. I don't know how true that is, but lore.
Did the guy go to prison for it?
Yeah. So he ended up killing one of his other band members, and that's what he went to jail for. Yeah.
Nice. Album's out now. Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, he did have a YouTube channel where he was like white supremacist, and they ended up taking it down. But yeah, it's a whole fucking wild ass story.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, when you have that aspect of something, like, I just feel like that does half the work for you.
Right, 100%.
Like The Strangers, very simple premise, but that movie fucked with me for weeks. I would check my fucking windows and doors every night type shit.
Everyone brings up that movie whenever horror, like movies that actually scared them, like Strangers always get brought up.
Yeah, because it's so simple, but so fucking... You want to talk about tension? Like, I felt like I almost had a panic attack twice watching that movie the first time. Like, I was just like, God, please either kill these people or let them go. Like, right. I can't handle this shit anymore, And then at the end, when they're just like all strapped up in the chairs, and they're like, "Why are you doing this? It's the most coldest shit you've ever heard in your life because you were home." What the fuck, dude? And then they get in the truck at the end after they just killed these poor fucking people. They're just like, "Don't worry, it gets easier next time." Like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like,
one that freaked me out recently. Ryan Reynolds did a movie called Voices.
Yeah, that's a fucking trippy one.
You watched it?
I've never seen the movie, but I've heard about it.
The reason it scares me is because how fragile our brains are. So he takes medicine to subdue his psychosis, but when he doesn't take his medicine, like the world looks different. And he's talking to like dead bodies and shit like that, people he's killed, and it's like, fuck, like some people really are that broken, and that's what freaks me out.
Yeah. Cuz like, doesn't he voice like the animals and shit?
He voices the animals, and then he voices like dead body. Like he killed somebody, and he puts the head in the refrigerator, and it's like talking to him, and he's like, "No, it's fine. Like this is not a big deal." But then he takes his medicine and realizes like the fucking
what he's done,
and he's like, "Oh fuck," and it just fucks with me.
Yeah,
because that shit scares the fuck out of me.
Yeah, like Criminal Minds. SVU, certain episodes of those shows gets to me.
Yeah.
Worse than some horror movies because of the fact that most of that shit is based off of like real stuff that's happened.
Right.
And like easy writing.
I think that's why people like true crime, because this shit really happened. But that's the shit I don't like, because it really happened. Like people really died, and I can't do it.
It's like, I don't want to know about it because like it's just like, damn, how could you be that cruel to another human being? And most of the time, like they didn't even know these people. They were just wrong place, wrong time type of shit.
Right.
And then the other half of me is like, well, I kind of want to know about it so I can know never to fucking make that mistake.
Well, that's why they say like 70% of audiences of true crime are women, and the reason they like it so much is so they can avoid that happening to them.
Or so they can kill somebody and get away with it.
Is that what they're doing?
I think so.
They're learning.
Think about it. Like half the people on that show Snapped are women that killed their husbands. I was so tired of the fucking beating and the drinking, and I just fucking killed him. But yeah, the true crime, like it's cool to a certain extent. Like I'm more under the like crime aspect. Like I want to know about like gangs and mobs and shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to hear about like the torture and the murders.
This guy killed 6 kids,
and
fucking never was caught. Like I don't want to know that shit. Like stuff like that.
I'm right there with you. But so you still have another pick for Christmas?
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you what it was last.
You wouldn't tell me what it is, so I'm super curious what you're gonna pick.
Friday After Next.
I should have guessed.
Hood Christmas movie, baby. It's what I wanted to end the year on because it's great. And it's why I do feel like it's the weaker of the trilogy. Terry Crews and Cal Williams.
There are some like good moments in it because I do remember watching it, and I'm like, this isn't as good as the first two, but it made me laugh a couple times.
You know, when I talk to a lot of people, like you'd be surprised. Like the older heads, we all still say Friday. The original is the best. But if you go to somebody that's like a few years younger, they'll say Next Friday. They like Next Friday because they like Day Day.
I saw Next Friday first.
Right.
And I thought it was pretty great and made me laugh my ass off. And then I saw Friday and I was like, oh, this is even funnier. And I can't choose which one I like more because I do like them both.
Well, they both have, like you said,
Moments.
they both have moments. And that's the same thing with Friday After Next. But like, that's the only one that I think of when I think of all the funny shit in it. And 90% of them don't have Ice Cube in the scene.
That's true.
Or like Mike Epps might be in it, but he's not. It's not, the scene's not on him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's the one where I feel like the side characters kind of shined more than they did. But the first two, you know, Craig and Day Day, and then Craig and Smokey, like the whole movie was just fucking Batman and Robin with them.
That's true.
But they're all great and I love them all. But like, I was just like, you know what? This is an outside the box Christmas movie that we would have never.
Yeah, because I don't think about it being a Christmas movie, but it is.
It's Christmas as shit, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get robbed by Santa Claus. Like, how fucking Christmas is that, dude? I can't wait to watch it. I haven't watched it in a couple of years, so this will be great.
Yeah, same. I think I only watched it the one time, but
I used to watch this movie so much. I had it on VHS, like towards the
holy shit.
Yeah, it was the end of the era for VHS. I had all three of them on VHS, and I'd watch this movie like every couple of days. Like honestly, it wouldn't even be Christmas time. I'd be watching it because I thought it was so funny. I used to be able to quote this bitch backwards. Probably still can. But
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Well, I'm excited. So I was talking to Nick before we hit record. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it now. So we got a comment saying I need to stop giving my opinion, my personal feelings on actors.
I mean, that's what this podcast is about, bro. It's all about our opinion. You don't have to.
Right, that's
agree.
kind
You
of
don't have to agree with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
we let everybody know ahead of time, like spoilers, bitch. Like we're gonna give what we think of it. You know, it's not.
So if there's ever come a time where there's an actor that I don't care for, I'll just go down a laundry list
of all the terrible things.
Of all the terrible things. And let you make your own opinion, because I could have done that with Chevy Chase. Just gone down the list of like why he's a shitty person.
I mean, we could do that with fucking half the actors we discuss.
Right.
Kevin Spacey. How many movies we done with him in it?
All I did was touch dicks. Like, I don't know. I'd be honored to have my dick touched by
There's
Kevin
nothing
Spacey.
wrong with touching dicks as long as you get consent to touch their dick. That was the issue.
I'd feel honored. Even though I'm not gay, I'm just like,
I mean, it was Kevin Spacey, man.
Kevin Spacey. Like, what am I going to do?
I mean, I wouldn't just let you touch my dick, but like
Yeah,
Kevin Spacey, like, come on, man.
Right.
Man, fuck it. I mean, you know,
No,
I don't
100%.
ever want to lose a listener. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. Like, don't think what we're saying is like just to you, but like to anybody that if you don't agree with us, that's fine.
Yeah.
And if you want to say, hey, I don't agree with what you said, that's completely fine. But don't tell us not to say what we want, because that's not gonna fucking happen, guy. Like, I'm sorry, we're gonna say what the fuck we want,
100%.
And
obviously, I was joking. You
Right.
should definitely get consent when touching dicks.
yeah, and like, and I mean, is Clark Griswold a beloved fucking character?
Yeah.
Absolutely, 150%. Is Chevy Chase a shitty person? Absolutely, 100%. But like I said, you can either choose to like him, or you could choose not to. And I mean, you know, that doesn't, you know.
Right.
But that's why I give Greg movies like that, because I know he doesn't like them, and it makes me laugh because I know that he has to watch it.
I'll keep that in mind for next year.
I think you do that too sometimes, though.
Oh, I do. I'm doing it a lot next year.
But yeah, man, it's been a fucking awesome year on this podcast, and we've had a lot of growth. And we appreciate everybody that listens. And I even appreciate the guy that made the comment, even though you kind of made it like an asshole, like you still made it. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%. I appreciate the support.
Interaction. Yeah, we love interaction, man. But yeah, like War with Cinema, that's what it is. Like
this is our opinion. Like basically, we're not real reviewers. We're giving our opinions on movies and actors and shit like that.
If you want that kind of thing, go watch Mojo.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna get the raw, unfiltered, like what's in our fucking heads.
Yeah,
it's just gonna come out. Like, sometimes it's out for the best, but you know what? Fuck it, dude. We've been doing it this long our way. Like, we're not gonna stop now.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And I'm excited for 2023.
I am too. I have so many movies lined up.
I got some bangers I plan on putting you on. You know what I mean? I'm going to get you happy about something.
I don't know what I'm going to end the year off on. I don't know if it's going to be another Christmas movie or if I'll just get started on the comedies,
Yeah,
the
man.
2023 comedies. But
Either way, it's going to be fun. And we're going to try to work some stuff. We're going to work on some stuff for next year. We'll always have Mick on for our annual Mick episode. And got a couple people that I want to get on because, like,
have you talked to Kevin?
that's what I'm saying. I gotta get with Kevin. Well, like, it's Christmas, so I knew he was gonna be able to do it right now.
Yeah.
But I was gonna talk to him and see if I could get him on first of the year around there. But yeah, man, big things coming, y'all.
Yep. Well, next week is going to be Friday after next, is it?
Yes.
All right. Until then.
Banging.
Later, y'all.
Later.